There's a Japanese tournament. That's pretty good.
Oh, I know that one. But is there one for Puyo Tetris?
No. Puyo Tetris doesn't get a ton of love, honestly.
Mm.
It's bizarre. Puyo Tetris isn't really that popular as like the favorite of either. It's not the Tetris people's go-to game, and
it's not the Puyos.
It's mostly just completely overdone by Puyo Champions or Puyo Esports in Japan.
Okay, yeah,
which is just the newest Puyo.
It's just the Puyo with this special, like, different Puyos and whatnot.
If you want the games that for each specific one, usually if you're like a hardcore player of one, you'll probably play one that's just that.
Yeah, and I was watching a bit of that stream. I forgot who linked it in the Discord. I was watching a bit of it, and every major Japanese tournament kind of is structured the same, and it's not the best viewing experience. Because, like, it's just always, like, commentator talking with nothing behind them going on for, like, ages, and then 2 minutes of stream, and then commentator talking for ages. I'm just like, they did that for, like, the Gundam Extreme Versus World Cup, and the matches took forever. Because they did everything on stream. Like, every match was only on stream. I'm like, oh, my lord.
And it's a bummer because in those kind of games, the matches are quick, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So it just makes it feel worse.
Yeah, it's just like, you could just give me, like, 10 games in a row. That's, like, what, 20 minutes?
Or like smaller interludes.
Because like those combos were crazy. Like that's the first time I saw a 15 chain. I'm like, oh my lord. That was pretty crazy. Yeah, it seems like Japan's really into Puyo, then America is really into. I mean, don't we have like one of the world champions in the Central Valley for Tetris?
Yeah, one of the guys who won it was in Visalia.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm like, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But that's classic Tetris, right?
Yeah. Usually Tetris has like I think 3 different specific popularities, and like classic Tetris is one. I think there's like a really newer modern Tetris that's really popular, and then there's like one other one.
Is that the one with all the cool effects? I forget what it's called.
Like Effect or whatever, the 3D
something like
one.
that. Yeah.
I don't think it's that one, no.
Okay.
Because they want kind of just the speed of the game.
Oh, okay. Oh, because they play on what, like 10 speed or what it is?
Well, just you have to be fast, and you don't want a whole bunch of stuff cluttering.
That, and there's not as many movement options, right?
Yeah.
Like.
There are some tricks in it depending on the game. I learned this talking to Pop when he was here because he was a big Tetris guy. Like, depending on the game, there are certain like input tech you can do.
Yeah.
This game has one of them even. I forgot the acronym for it. But the trick is when you want to move a piece fast.
Yeah.
So you press and hold left, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes blink, and then it starts moving. Yeah. It has like that brief moment where it does one. Oh, you're holding it. Now I'll move. If you hold another input, it skips that pause.
Oh.
So you can, when he played, he bound his bumpers and triggers to like left, right, up. So he would hold a button just to have like hold left, so it could just immediately to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, without having to do the boot to the left, boot to the right, boot, and it gave him a massive boost in speed.
That's freaking
Not every
awesome.
game has a tech like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that's why some games are favorite over others.
Mario 64 half A press
press.
tech.
You negative edge in Tetris.
We're building up speed into, what was it, quadrant dimensions.
Yep, so go to alternate dimensions.
But to understand that, we have to explain that in here. Who's that Yoshi guy? He's awesome. Shout out to that Yoshi guy who his comment, you can't half A press.
Yeah. You can't. You either press it or you don't. You can't half press a button.
I made Ronald and another friend of mine watch that just to explain a meme I shared. And to my shock, they watched the whole thing.
It is interesting.
Jaws a game.
For what it's worth, it is interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's just so, like, inconsequential.
Yeah.
I'm like, who has ever asked
It's so
this?
overdone for just this game has funny inputs.
Yeah. Like, it's the next level of every copy of 64 is personalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, puzzle games are cool.
You can what?
What's the next puzzle game we're making big?
If I'm being biased, I'm fond of Pack Attack.
Oh.
But I don't know if its versus has like damage. I think it's just survival and score. I don't remember if the versus mode does
If there was an
damage.
offline mode, Pac-Man 99.
Pac-Man 99 is fun.
I love that game. Though the
Pac-Man's
red
a good format
Pac-Man
for that.
give me nightmares. Those things are
scary.
brutal.
That was one of the fun ones of those.
I really enjoy it. For the first few weeks, I went really hard on it. But I don't know. I just didn't find the time to play it. Really, I wish all the 99 games had offline capabilities.
I wish that we could still play Mario 35.
Oh my god, Nintendo. Yeah, me too.
That's okay. They're the company. They're here to make the monies and not be our friend.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I will buy the product I like.
They'll
and that be
re-release it 20 years later.
Yeah, for Mario 55.
For Mario 55, and it'll be available for 2 days on Switch 7.
And then they'll also re-release another port of Fire Emblem 1 for a limited amount of time.
I got that special edition too.
Why?
I really enjoyed it. I was just mad. Oh, because every Fire Emblem special edition will always sell out. All of them.
Fair enough. If you're doing it just for the collection's sake, yeah.
Yeah,
But I was like, why would you want to play base FE1?
I just wanted to collect. I still have it sealed. I mean, I played it a long time ago, emulator. I thought that was fun. I really want 4 to get remade, though.
I think they would. I know a big appeal of like the older games is like their difficulty and their edge, but they would benefit heavily from some quality of life.
That's why I hope they would go the Shadows of Valentia route,
Yeah.
where they really like modernized it, but they didn't like, you know.
Have I talked
Take
about
away
Fire Emblem a lot with you? I think I might have had like a
Oh.
message once or twice.
I think we've definitely brought it up, especially with like Engage.
Yeah, because we talked about engagement.
Engage and Awakening for sure, and then I know Fates was brought up at one point.
Then can I tell you an observation I made a while ago that's really funny?
What's up?
So, because I'm assuming you've played Fire Emblem for a while, right?
Yeah.
So, online Fire Emblem discussion sucked, right?
Yes.
It was really bad, especially around like Awakening. Like, it was awful.
Oh yeah.
But nowadays, it's great. And it's because we went to this point of time where we only had so many games, and everyone. If you go to a Star Wars group and you ask, what's the best Star Wars? You're probably going to be told, oh, the original trilogy.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have someone say, I really like the prequels.
Yeah,
but the original trilogy is probably
prequels are
better.
very in vogue now. People are realizing they're a lot better.
You
than
might have
what you
someone
thought.
say something like, this is my favorite, but the
Yeah.
best is probably this one.
Exactly.
Fire Emblem doesn't have that. There isn't a best game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, I really like this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happened is enough time passed and enough people started getting online with it that it's less, you're all stupid, this is the best
exactly.
one, and more, I like these things more, so this one is my favorite.
I will say there was a lot of people trying to kind of pose, and they would say Sigurd's game. I mean, it's really good, but people would just be like, it's the safest bet. People think I'm based.
It's old and none of them have played it, so they can't complain.
Exactly. They're like, and it's really long. Like,
Now, that
surely
game has
this is
some
it.
issues.
Oh. It's a great story. Because that's another thing, too, I think that everyone agrees with. Like, it's a coin flip whether or not a Fire Emblem story is good or even passable. Like, I love Awakening, but that story is just dog shit. It is so
They
negligible.
waver between generic and, like, trying to do depth with character.
Yeah.
And some of them really nail the depth, and some of them are just a really fun of the generic. Like, Sacred Stones isn't deep.
Yeah.
But I love the story because for just being good guys fight the bad guys,
Yeah,
the
it's
characters
fun.
are fun, and it does the story around them well.
The whole Erica being really into her brother is a little weird, but
It's not.
it's
She
negligible.
really isn't even that. She's more into Leon.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes
That
she's
just
just
got
like,
memed.
yeah, it's like, Ephraim is so cool. Like,
She's just like, I hope he's not dead.
I know.
And then the first support is goofy because he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna touch your face, and she's like, please stop. I'm not 2. And he's like, I couldn't tell because I'm a dumb big brother.
Yeah. That's another thing, too. A lot of Fire Emblem characterization's kind of...
It's all over the place.
It's all over the place, and it's not represented well because a lot of people only know the FE characters from Smash. Because, like,
Or from the mobile game.
Everyone thinks Martha's like a diva, but he's kind of a ditz.
He's wants to be the goodest good boy.
Yeah, exactly. And
But
then,
I think the problem wasn't even that Marth was a diva. I think everyone thought he was because they just didn't know
Yeah,
his language, and he was
exactly.
a pretty boy.
yeah, exactly.
So they're like,
There's
oh, so he's obviously
all
all
up-
hoity-toity, fancy, better
Yeah.
than you. No, he's like the biggest. I want to be Superman. He's such a doof of. I want to do the
would
right
say,
thing.
I would say Ike is pretty like 1-to-1 with his Smash
Ike is pretty
counterpart.
good.
Yeah.
He's just big and hits hard and wants to do the job right.
And he's
and
kinda,
doesn't take
He's
crap.
one of the only few characters that like isn't royalty technically.
Yeah, he becomes royalty briefly, and then when
Yeah.
the job's done, says, "Awesome, I'm giving it up. I
he's
hate
like,
this."
alrighty, back to being part of the Grail mercenaries.
I want to make a mod for Path of Radiance where his Lord outfit is just his normal one with a funny hat. Because when he says like, "Oh, we can't have you lead the Crimean army," that's ludicrous. You must be lorded to do this. And
Exactly.
He goes, so what? Do I have to put on a funny hat? And I just want to change the dialogue. Just, yes, and
Yeah.
it does the promotion and just
Give him like
with
one
a
of the
hat.
give him one of the caster's hats.
Yeah,
That'd be so amazing.
and then just there you go. That's Lord Ike.
I'm surprised that game was never brought up as like the definitive best one because like it's got a good story and it's got great gameplay.
So here's the issue.
But
because I've looked up why. Because I thought that I was like, isn't it really good?
yeah, I
It's
like
really
it.
easy.
Yeah, that
Path
too.
of Radiance is really
I
easy,
could-
especially here in America.
Yeah.
We got Mega Man.
Yeah,
We
pretty
do
much.
not have their difficulties. Our hard is JP normal.
Yeah. And Ike himself is really good. Like, you can get through the game with him, like, almost just
Yeah,
him.
just him.
Because his biggest weakness at the beginning is he's kind of slow,
But he
he hits
levels
like a
up speed
dump
super
truck,
quick.
and then he just gets fast, and he's like, oh, I also still hit
Now
like
I'm
a dump
doubling
truck.
everything.
And then, like, even his range is good because he just throws Ragnell.
Eventually, yeah, you get Ragnar at the end.
And you're just like, all right.
But
Okay,
yeah,
I
the
got
issue
you.
Path of Radiance has is difficulty, and then people have done like, okay, well, let me do like a translation of the JP one. The JP highest difficulty is not good design difficulty.
it-
It's like Lunatic plus Awakening.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like
Oh,
RNG and
yeah.
having to rig the game
really-
instead of just actually
It's
hard.
that term I can't stand, but some artificial difficulty.
Artificial
It's the
difficulty.
dumbest fucking term ever, in my
It's
opinion.
so dumb because it's still difficult.
Yeah.
It's just not designed.
And it's
well.
only Souls players like to be like, haha, that's not really hard. This is artificial difficulty. Here's a real hard game. I'm like,
And I'm like,
I get it. Dodging a lot is hard.
man, I sure love having to just extend everything. That's what I like in my game.
I'm like, yeah, because you're fighting against a computer. We're not. That's another thing I wish Fire Emblem would do better is PvP. Because the Awakening Street Pass was cool, but it was so punishing.
So punishing.
And I eventually would just give all my Street Pass just counters of everything. I'm like, go ahead,
Yeah,
do it. You're gonna lose your characters, so no one would ever do it.
exactly. It's like,
I
well, are
wouldn't.
we having fun now?
Yeah. I'm like,
Are we engaging with this mechanic well?
I've got counter advantage. All my kids are busted.
Mm-hmm.
I had my characters breed like Pokemon.
We played eugenics. We know the rule.
Oh yeah. That game has a ridiculous high amount of replayability just for that. Just
Yeah.
all the different kids. Like, there definitely is like the objective best like kids and the objective best pairings, but outside of that, it's really fun just to mix and match. 'em
I
up.
just have fun with the game. I like it.
I
I
love
never
it.
played it on higher difficulties because of that. It's like I don't want to be forced into things. I kind of like experimenting with it.
that, and the DLC is super challenging too.
Yeah, the DLC's hard.
It's very hard, but it's not Lunatic Plus hard,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. That and any Fire Emblem, for me personally, that where the casters are really good, I love it. And
I love
the
when mages are
are busted in Awakening.
I love when mages are good. That's a beef with Path of Radiance.
Yeah,
Mages
that
are
too.
Awful in that game.
They're like, you could cast something, or you could chuck this sword.
Or you could just throw hand axes and
Yeah.
have more movement.
Yeah.
Why do mages move like armor knights?
Oh my god.
They have less move. Mages move like armor knights in Path
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Radiance.
they do.
I hate it. The only one that doesn't is Tormod, and you don't get him till way later, and he's
Exactly.
also underleveled. So it's just like, do you want to use a mage who could actually contribute? You
Mm-hmm.
better save that bonus experience, or you got nothing.
Yeah, and then Radiant Dawn was just like, use all the people who transform into animals. Or not, I don't
And
care.
also just use everyone. Also, now you have to fight everyone you built. Did you build someone to awesome?
Yeah,
Good.
good.
Die.
Take 'em
This
out
is your
now.
own fault. I want to like Radiant Dawn.
I do too, but I made my peace with it. I'm like, it's just not as good as the predecessor,
I think
unfortunately.
it bites off more than it can chew. I think the story stuff it does is really cool, but I think the
Yeah.
gameplay is not satisfying
handles-
because of all the stuff it has to throw at you.
It kind of handles the ideas of like classism and racism and like speciesism in a really interesting way, and the different
The Telia story is really
the
good.
different
Both games
a-
are really
the
good.
different perspectives are really cool. But with that said, not every group is equal. Like, some are just way better than others. I'm just like, that and both games were stupid expensive, even when they
nowadays
were
trying
new.
to get re-releases sucks. They did not sell
They
a ton,
short-printed
so they
it.
did not make a ton.
And I don't ever recall commercials for either or any
Oh yeah,
sort
it
of
was very
advertisement.
rarely advertised.
Yeah, that was the case for Fire Emblem until Awakening, really.
Yeah, the only one that really got a big push was Awakening. It's because it was a launch title for the 3DS.
And it was supposed to be the last game too.
Yep, and it paid off.
It was just like, dang, this is too good. And then they're like, let's follow up with Fates, and that's
All
a
right,
whole.
what did everyone really like in Awakening? we'll just amp all that by 10 in Fates.
Yeah.
And we'll also Pokemon it because we're selling enough for that, right?
Exactly.
Wait, they hated both of those like crazy. Okay, well, overcorrect, remake an old game. And then they
glad
brought
they
back
did
Echoes.
I love Echoes. I love what they did with it. I just want them to do it again. With
Their remakes have been better. Like,
amazing.
Some of their early remakes are a little scuffed, but the later remakes were better. So that's why everyone's rumors like, hey, we're probably going to get a Genealogy remake in some way.
That'd
I'm
be
down.
great. I would love for them to have a PvP mode at some point, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
They would have done it by now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they've accepted that they're going to try to stick to the solo stuff.
At this point, we might just get another Warriors game.